Today I'm making a luxurious dried flower garland with all of this lovely beauty. It's to hang over the doorway of a shop in Sherborne. It's going to be luxurious, thick, juicy, sparkling, 100% dried, 100% biodegradable, no wire. So come along with me and I'll show you how I make it. And if you're new to the channel, you're very welcome. Please do subscribe, press the bell icon, and I hope that the algorithm will tell you when we've got new clips coming up, although it doesn't always. So it's worth popping by and checking from time to time. I post most weeks on a Wednesday. So most weeks there's a clip from me about something. This week I'm making a dried flower garland to hang outside this beautiful shop in Sherborne. So this week it's a floral craft activity. Some weeks it might be travelling, shopping, fashion, gardening. I'm a flower farmer by trade, so all kinds of things. Anyway, do follow along, press the subscribe button, press the bell icon, and if the tips and tricks I give you along the way are really useful, you can always join my club. And the information for club membership is in the blurb for all my clips. Right, on we go. So I'm going to tie everything onto my base with paper string, really simple. I used to use a lot of raffia, but the quality got less and less good. Paper string, watch out, if it gets wet, it can snap. So I wouldn't use long lengths of it to hang outside, but this piece is going to be hanging in a covered area, so it won't get rained on. So this is good, but I am going to belt and braces, and I'm going to tie the whole garland to this much stronger string. I'm not going to make the garland with the stronger string because it's too fat to make tight knots, but it's a nice thing that I can add to the base. So I'm keeping this to one side and I'm going to tie each section to this, and then I can tie the three sections together and hang them together. I'm also going to make this garland. What I would like is a swag, and a swag is fatter in the middle, and so it goes fat bunch in the middle and then it gets thinner up to the corners and then it hangs down. So I'm going to have two long hanging down pieces, and I might make them so that they're very slightly fatter at the bottom than they are at the top, so that there's some perspective. So it gives me a shape to hang either side of the door. And then the swag at the top, I haven't got that much room and it can't hang too deep because the door to the shop is going to open and shut. But by making the middle of the swag at the top quite fat and then getting thinner to either side, I will give the impression of weight and luxury. So it's going to be fat in the middle, thin at the top, and then hang down and get fatter towards the bottom. A bit like a swingy ballroom skirt, for example. So there's a real sort of feeling of movement. Even though dried flowers can be a little still, we can give it movement by the shape that we make. I've got this nice big table I'm going to work on here. This is the width of the door, 3 foot. This is the width between the hooks that I've got to hang. So I'm going to make the top piece first, and I'm going to make it in 2 sections so that I can have the fat end and tie it together in the middle to give me the wow factor. So that's my first piece. And then I'm going to make the side sections are going to be about 5 foot long each. I might do them off, not quite the same length, like ribbons hanging down. So one might be 5 foot and one might be 3 foot, because again, more movement. By having everything very equal lengths, it makes it very straight and staid. But if you give yourself some space, then you can give yourself movement even with a really still piece of work. So I'm going to get myself bits together and then we'll start. So I've got all kinds of colour. I've got these lovely helichrysum, statice, white statice, big fan of it. Golden dried Leonora sibirica, motherwork to you. Beautiful dried pink pochers, fantastic for a lingerie shop. This is all quite lingerie colour, I think. lovely, a great favourite, Eryngium, Nigella, and absolutely favourite, the gorgeous Limonium. And this is going to be the top of my arrangement. So I'm just laying all my pieces, all my different kinds of ingredients out here. And I need to make it so that you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to bunch quite tightly. And I want it to look quite luxurious. So my tight bunches are going to be fat and juicy, like, for example, a fat, juicy bunch of Limonium. And I'm going to tie it up, and I'm going to make lots and lots of fat, juicy bunches tied with paper string. And I could sit here with you watching me all afternoon, or, there we are, or I could save you a lot of time by turning this off and wait, and I'll come back when I've made a load of bunches. Note that I have kept enough string that I can tie this to something. At the moment, the stems are quite long, but they might well get cut really much shorter. So I'm going to make loads of bunches, and I'll come back when I've made my bunches. Right, it's the next morning. I'm just going up to the studio to start. I've done some of the garlanding. I'll show you when I get there, but I just thought you'd like to see this unbelievably beautiful morning. A crisp frost sparkling through the hedgerows and on the crab apples. Oh, yes. And on we go. When it's very cold, I wear a hat when I'm working in the studio to keep me warm, because you know you lose most of the heat through your head. And this old, lovely, it's not old actually, quite 5 years old maybe, feather gilet, and my little knitted scarf keeps my neck warm. But always wear an apron. Never go anywhere without your brand on your breast. Beautiful crispy morning, so let's have some Flower Farmer chic hat, because otherwise you lose most of the heat through your head. Sweater, shirt, knitted tie to keep the neck warm, lovely waistcoat, feather, 2 pairs of socks, boots, naked leg, and of course the apron, because never go anywhere without your brand on your breast. Right, because I never quite do anything in the way I think I'm going to. I've actually made the 2 uprights. So these are going to hang either side of the door, like this. And now I'm going to make, can you see? So they're just long garlands of lovely dried material. And because they're dried, I can have them facing upwards. It gives them a thicker, more kind of alive look. So I've got 2 of these, and they're going to go either side of the door in my at the shop. Very bright, though I sew it myself. And I'm now going to make the bit to go over the top. And I'll have the whole thing in 3 pieces, so I can just take it and join it all together when I get there. It's much easier to split. If you've got a big garland to make, is make it in sections, and then you can put it together when you get there. And I'm in a hurry. I've got to go and have a doctor's appointment at 11:45. So I've got to get this done, get it ready, then I can take it to Sherborne after the doctor's appointment and put it up. And so here's the first half of the top of the door. They're sweet, they're very simple little garlands. And then I'm going to make the other half, which will face it, and they will work together. So this will hang, this is the top right hand corner, and that's the middle. Oh yes it is. I like the order. Order. There's the Eryngium, and actually there are the Nigella, the pink pokers, the statice, helichrysum, Limonium. It's a really nice, it's really sparkly and pretty. It's like a pretty Christmas garland. I'm so pleased with it. Right, make another one. So I've taken the overmantel and I've just run a piece of bigger string down the back just to give it some strength. I don't want it sagging. It's going to hang up for like, you know, nearly a month. But that's going over the top of the door. And that piece of string around the back is just giving it some strength so that when I hang it up, it's not going to fall apart. It's worth having a little bit of engineering, even if you're doing very delicate work. Do think about where you can put your engineering so that it won't show, but you can tuck it out of the way. And there is the meat in the middle. Woo. So it's balanced because it's the same amount of material either side. And that is going to be the top. And I'm going to run string down both of the long sides as well, just to give it some strength. And then when I go to install it, I'm going to take a fair bit of spare material so that I can hang it up and then I can pudge it, by which I mean add little extras. When it's hanging, you don't see until you hang a garland. When it's hanging, you might find there's a bit that's looking a bit sparse, needs a bit more. So I will take my string, I'll take my other string, and I'll take a big load of spares, which I can just tuck in to cover up. I call them bald patches. If I was doing fresh floristry, I'd call it a hole. But with dried flowers, often it looks sometimes you hang something up and you see when you've hung it that there's a bald patch, so I'm going to need material to take with me for that. Right, on we go. Right, had my spear test. Ooh, horrible, but better than discovering I've got cancer. And now off to Sherborne. And here we are finished. And it's light as a feather, but I'm very pleased with the way that the golden colour is very good with the golden stone, and the pink suits the underwear shop, I think. It's very delicate, so I hope my client likes it. But when you have an idea and it all comes together, so I'm very pleased with it. I hope you like it too. Bye-bye. It's just attached with some little hooks which are attached to the wall. I can't even find them. There's a little hook. And then there are 3 little hooks above the door and another one on this side. And it really, when a plan comes together.